So today is just going to be about some general misconceptions and some truths that need to be talked about. You know, guys, that when I talk to you, I'm kind of the no bullshit guy. I don't have a bunch of flowers back here and hearts and all of this. I teach you what needs to be taught. I teach you the truth. And some of it is brutal. Some of it is just a slap across the face, and it's to wake you guys up. It's out of love and nothing but love. Being a guru isn't easy. I get a lot of, hate, and that's okay. Excuse me, guys, that doesn't bother me at all. So today is just going to be one of those days, misconceptions and truths, or truths and misconceptions, all right? And the first one that I want to talk to you about is something that in my last live video, I asked you a question. Who is God? And I made that abundantly clear. Who is God? And so today I want to talk about that a little bit. And then I'll move into another misconception and something that you guys all believe in, because it's been inbred in you, and it's in what I'm about to talk to you about. God, or who I call Father, was also inbred in you. I mean, it was ingrained so deeply in you that you just can't seem to shake it. And that's why I was having a hard time trying to come up with a topic, and I can't. So this is just going to be a hodgepodge. It's a mishmash of stuff that's going to be talked about today, kind of like a live, which I'll be going live this Friday. So who is God? And I'll go back into who I was prior to my death in 2020. I was a Christian, hardcore Christian. I fully believed in the Bible. My grandparents taught me, took me to Catholic school for 2 years, took me to church, Sunday school, CCD. Excuse me, guys. It was ingrained in me. I enacted plays in where I was Jesus, the woman at the well scene, or a play that I talked to you guys about. I believed in heaven and hell. I believed in good and bad, right and wrong. I believed in it all. So much so that even though I had bisexual experiences, I told all the hardcore homosexuals, I hope you all burn in hell, because that is where you're going to go, knowing full well that's where I'm going, right? So I came from a hardcore Christian background, all right? Not like beaten into me, but when you go to church, you're told that you're a filthy sinner, that you're no good, that God is not going to save you if you smited him in any way, shape, and form. You were given the truth that God was a human being sitting up there, and any small infraction, no matter what it is, you were going to be destined to a place of utter suffering and damnation. And all of you, most of you, except some of my hardcore followers listening to this, understand this truth, that it is not real. But I still believed in that all the way up until 2020, until April 2nd arrived at roughly 5:36 p.m. when I actively started dying, fully believed that my time was up, and I began, for the first time in 45 years, cried out to God to please not let me die. Even though I had no relationship with him, no conversation with him, cut him out of my life because of the abuse that I took as a child, thinking, well, clearly he doesn't love me. Nobody loves me. That's fine. I'll do it my way. I explained all this. I had a hard life. Now this moment arrives, right? And I'm begging for my life, please. And it's funny because I've got to stress this because it's highly important. I've been thinking about it for over a week now. Is that all the things that you think are important in your life, your house, your car, your clothes, your stupid cell phone, your computers, your video games, your college degrees, your master degrees, your PhDs, in the last minutes of your life, the only thing you care about is love. You will beg for your children. You will beg to see your wife one more time. You will beg for your husband to come and hold you. None of your material world matters anymore. And it was true in my case. The things that I yearned for, all the haves and have-nots disappeared. The only thing that mattered to me was love. I became love in that moment. And as I cried out to my Father, God, to please not let me die, that was the only thing that mattered to me, was love. And as I told you before, based on my Christianity background, he had no business answering my pleas to him. I disrespected him. I hated him. I wished he was dead. When he took my son away from me, I told him I would kill him in hell, and I would drag him there. I had no business being saved. None. So who is God? He is everything. He is everywhere in everything. To say that God is here with me now is an untruth, because he is me. And to say that he's here means he is nowhere else. He is everywhere. He is all of you. You see, when God created everything, God knew everything. And I could say God is mother. My mother created everything. Created the universe, created us, right? So when God knew everything there is ever to know, that wasn't good enough for him. Now remember, God is neither male or female. I like to switch it up just to confuse the living shit out of all of you when I say mother. When mother created everything, it wasn't good enough for mom to know everything. It wasn't good enough. So what did mom do? What did God do? God created us from himself. He took a little piece of himself, that consciousness, that all-knowing, and created a little ball of energy, or a big ball of energy, because we are the exact same thing as our Father. All right? He created us. Why? Because as we know everything, when we chose to come into a physical life, a physical existence, which, by the way, we have been doing not for thousands of years, not for millions of years. We have been doing this for billions of years. Okay, so get that through your head right now. This isn't a one-shot deal. This isn't a century thing. This is billions of years we've been doing this. All right? So when we come here and we choose to forget, we choose to engulf ourselves in the illusion of space and time into a physical incarnated body. We, all of us, when I say we, on this planet, in this universe, in other dimensions, other galaxies, other civilizations, some higher, some much lower, we are a very primitive society. We are very primitive people. All right? So, Father is experiencing the all-knowing. All that is, all that I am, wanted to experience all that he knows already. It wasn't good enough to just know. Now, all that is, all that I am, wanted to experience all that is, thus creating us. As we experience what all that is already knows, all that knows is living vicariously and experiencing what he already knows through us. Case in point, he is living vicariously through all of us. So when all of you are getting burned, he's experiencing the feeling of getting burned. When someone is experiencing being raped, all that knows is now experiencing what you are experiencing as well. So if you think you're alone during that process, you are not. Your Father is experiencing that with you. It's not good enough for all that is to know. All that is needs to experience it as well. And this is what we are doing here. When I say, who is God? When I said to you in that interview with Dave Sledge, I am God. When I told you I was one with everything, that means my consciousness and what Jesus said when I said, all that I am you, I am one with everything, is the same thing Jesus said 2 millennia ago when he said, I and the Father are one. We are the same consciousness. We are the exact same energy as Father, as God, all that is. So when I was in constant light and the love of who I am, knowing everything instantaneously, seeing through the illusion of this physical realm, seeing the truth of who we are. We are simply here to figure out who we are. It's like taking a glass, right? Our soul, since that's the term you guys need to fully understand, is if I took a really thin glass, right, and I dropped it on the concrete floor, what's going to happen to it? It's going to shatter into pieces, right? So what we do in these lives is we take our soul, our consciousness, and we shatter it. Now we have, say, 1,000 pieces of us somewhere. And through those experiences, we come across a part of our soul and we experience that. Okay? And we figure out, wow, killing people that's not who I am. Now I'm put to death because I killed people my whole life. That really wasn't who I am. I'm not going to do that anymore. Now, are you being judged? How can you judge yourself? You can't. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know this is complex, guys. It's deep, and that's why I've been struggling to find a way that I can explain this to you easily enough that you'll understand it. All right? Every single person on this planet is God. It's a piece that he is picking up and re-putting back together, which you are doing. That's what you are doing. So in this life, I'm figuring out who I am. Who is not Jason Janis. The body is named Jason Janis. Are we our bodies? No. What is inside us, God, the spark, right? God spark, thus God, is figuring out who I am at any point in time that is taking place. Now, time doesn't exist. Everything that is happening is now. It's happening now. There's nothing over there to the left, to the past. There's nothing out there yet to the future because it hasn't been created yet. You're creating it in your thoughts, in trying to figure out with that piece you just picked up who you are. There is no right or wrong. It's an illusion. My right is constantly changing. Your right is constantly changing. What was right for you 5 years ago is no longer right or wrong. You've changed that. Right? So you cannot look at another being and simply say, well, they're wrong based on your perception of what right and wrong is, because it doesn't exist. It's you finding out who you are in this physical realm. Now you have teachers being sent to you by Father, such as me, who is willing to talk about these things that need to be talked about, that are being repressed from you and hidden from a society that's hell-bent on keeping you in your lower state of vibration. That is the church. All organized religion, Father wants gone. Gone. It is keeping you from finding out who you are. Now, I had an experience of drowning in my own blood, suffocating. What do they call it? Acute respiratory failure hypoxia. They pumped out 2.8 liters of blood from my lungs. That's the equivalent of 12 or 11.8, 12 cups of blood. I drowned, ladies and gentlemen, and that is an experience I choose never to have again. That was beyond painful and terrifying all at the same time. All right, I can't even begin to tell you that experience. It is beyond words. And then all of a sudden, taking all that is, right? Taking all that I thought I was, a sinner, a worthless piece of shit, a good for nothing. I told my God, my Father, that I'd kill him for taking my son and abandon him and all that crap. Whoop, now all of a sudden I am out of my body, looking at it on the bed, not giving a rat's ass about it. And all of a sudden, I'm knowing exactly where I am at. I said it, I'm home. How is that possible? How am I being, and I know who the light is. I know the oneness that I am. What Jesus said in that moment, I and the Father are one. I and the Father were one and still am. That was all there was. And the illusion was gone. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here on a Tuesday, triple zeros. Imagine that. I knew where I was. I knew everything. The charade was gone. All the truth was laid out before me in an instant. Before you could even think of a thought, before you could blink your eyes, that knowledge was there. The truth was there. How long I was in that state, I don't know. It could have been 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 4 days. Could have been 40 seconds, whatever. I don't know, don't care. All I know is I know the truth. So however long that lasted, right? I can see the field of grass. I could see every blade of grass. I could see their souls. I could feel the love. I could see through the walls. 360-degree vision. I could see it all. Everything was there for me. And I was in love, in constant love, because I was crying out in love. Hence, the experience I experienced was that of love. My vibration was through the roof. We simply exist as energy, vibrational energy, consciousness, pure consciousness. And that is God, ladies and gentlemen. God is everything. We are gods. And when I say gods, it's because I'm talking about all of you. All that is wanted more than just knowing everything. So all that is created us so that we, as pure consciousness, oneness consciousness, could go forth and experience ourselves and who we are, God, through the experiences that we have here in this physical realm. Being burned, making love, being raped, getting in a car accident, making love to your girlfriend or spouse, having children, walking in the park, making love in the park, fishing, camping, everything. Our Father is living vicariously through us, through these avatars. There is no other place to go than to go home. We are already home. This is home. When Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is here, it is true. We are the kingdom. We are our Father. Excuse me. We are already home. There's no place for us to go. As I said before, we are on a journey, ladies and gentlemen, a journey of discovering who we are through these experiences that we go through. We can have the joyous experiences or we can have the dark experiences. It all depends on your thoughts in your head. As I've said before, they create your reality. This is an illusion. This is a dream. It's like turning on the video game and picking your avatar. That's all we've done. The ego created your body so it could experience all that is, all the knowing. That is who God is. God is everything. God is everywhere. God is love. God is light. We are the spitting image of our Father, our mother. All that is and all that will ever be is you, is God. Wake up. Get the blinders off. Get past the illusion. It's like finding out Santa Claus wasn't real. How many of you got pissed off? I was. You're kidding me, right? So you've been bullshitting me and lying to me my whole life. The tooth fairy, now, is the tooth fairy real? No. Oh, real. So you lied to me too, right? So no tooth fairy, no Easter bunny, right? There's no Easter bunny hopping along giving you eggs and all the candy? No. More bullshit, right? Yep. Same thing with the church. And now I'm going to dive into another aspect. I know I'm going to cover a couple topics here. I've covered fear. I've covered, the greatest illusion ever told, the Bible, right? A pile of garbage. Same thing with what I'm going to talk to you about now. And this is just going to be very brief. We can talk more about it in the live session on Friday, because I don't want to keep this too long. It is, as I have told you, there is no hell. There are no demons. Well, where did this concept come from? So now we have to go way back in time, way, way back, like past, the Egyptians. We get to the Ramses and all of that and further back. When what we call our beginnings, when we first started out, we were not a patriarchal society, but a matriarchal society. Women ruled. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, women ruled over men. And it was a peaceful time. It was a beautiful time. All right? There was no war. There was no famine. There was no this. There was no that. Women were goddesses. All right? Men served simply as protectors of the females and to, lift heavy things and move things and to procreate, right? We were subservient to the women, to the females, meaning when we wanted children, we would have sex. They would come to us. We would give them what they need, and that was that. It was a peaceful society. It was ruled by matriarchs, by goddesses. And even in the ancient Egyptians, if you look back at their society, yeah, they had the pharaoh, but who ruled inside that kingdom was the females. That's why there were, they call it keeping it in the family, inbreeding, right? Brothers and sisters were having sex. They were producing offspring to keep it a matriarchal society. And that is why, as you know, King Tut was heavily inbred, a lot of birth defects, first cousins, and so on and so forth. It was a matriarchal society. Now, we're talking before the ancient Egyptians, okay? We're talking way out there. So what happened? How did things turn out to go from peace and loving to what you now call as the devil? Where did it come from? So as you would know, some men back in the day were probably if not very unhappy with, being a sex slave. In reality, would it be that bad to just move a couple heavy things and then have sex all the time? No. I'm fine with that, You want to have sex? Sure, okay. Hey, can you pick up and move this? Sure, no problem. Want more sex? Sure. All right. But as in every civilization, what happens? People get disgruntled. Now, this is just going to be a basic overview, guys, okay? Just a quick overview. So, again, matriarchal society, they ruled over everything. So as in our clans, as the males were kept off to the side, kind of out of the, the mainstream, by far secondary or third class in the scheme of things, you get one disgruntled person, and what does that one disgruntled person do? They begin to talk. This sucks. Why do I have to, this, that, and the other thing, right? So men had no power. what could they do? They had no power at all, no laws. They couldn't do anything. They had no vote. They had no right. They had no nothing. They were used for moving things and protecting the goddesses and protecting the children. That's it. And, having sex. That's all they were regularly, delegated to do. They had nothing else. So then you get one person talking, well, then the other person agrees with them, right? So you're in this group now of unhappy men, males, right? So what takes place then? What is the only thing that they could use to their advantage? Remember, we have two emotions, one and one, love and fear. They used fear to gain the upper hand. The one thing that the females, the goddesses, didn't count on. And they used it very effectively. Thus, if they were goddesses, then there had to be an opposite of a goddess, a devil. They created the devil using fear to control and take away the power from the women. Now, this wasn't an overnight thing, guys. This took centuries and centuries and centuries. But as the myth grew, what also grew was the fear. Again, the females did not count on that in any way, shape, or form. So, out of centuries of wrongdoings and misleading from disgruntled people, men, they created the exact opposite of a god. And if you just want to put S at the end for female, they created the devil. Now the females, what did they need? What were you there for? To procreate, to move heavy things, and to protect. Can you see where this is going now, huh? Right. So what did they do? They relinquished their power to the males, thus giving birth and rise to a myth born out of disgruntledness. That's it. Thus, the roles became reversed, and as you see it today, the penis rules the world. And look at the state that we are in. How much love do you see around the world right now, ladies and gentlemen? How much love do you see? We went from love and peace and harmony and joy and happiness to what you see in the world today, all out of fear. A myth was born. The devil was created. Then, who launched into that? Who grabbed a hold of that myth and ran with it when I did the fires of Gehenna and the invention of hell? The church just wrapped its arms around that and said, hey, let's just take that and we'll glorify it with now, instead of an eternal garbage dump, a lake of eternal fire and damnation. Created, and will create the devil. The devil now owns this. Now think about that in the terms of what I just talked about, who you are. Who are you? There is no such thing as the devil. There is no hell. How can God damn himself to a place that doesn't exist? The Ten Commandments. Who is he going to command? Himself? Who does he need an army for? Himself? There's nothing to command. There's nothing to mobilize against. We're all one. We're all our Father. Okay? That mythology of the devil stemmed from that thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, if not maybe 1 million years ago. We have been doing this for billions of years. Thus, the mythology of the devil was created, and it came out of fear. Men used fear to control the matriarchs, which is what the matriarchs didn't count on, because that was the men's job, was to save them from what was ever coming after them. Well, they created something that didn't exist and terrified the females to the point of which they gave up power. They gave their power away, their control, to the males. And we have had it ever since. And that is where the devil came from, ladies and gentlemen. Pure and simple. There is no devil. Yes, that is why it took me so long to put this information out. And what it was taking me so long to come up with concepts and ideas that you guys can wrap around. And I'm like, Jason, you just have to say it. You just have to say it. You haven't held back in the beginning, and there's no point in holding back now. All right? You all need to know the truth and who you are, who God is. And that your relationship to your Father is based on your thoughts, on who you are trying to find who you are, like dropping that glass and picking up those pieces of you, finding out who you are. I had a death. I had that given to me. I had that. When I go through that again, I would have to say yes just because of the oneness. But I am living in oneness. Trying to find it is the wrong solution. I'm already there. Well, I'm looking at my bank account. Literally, it's in the negative red, but I'm already wealthy. It's already there. You have to believe it. To go try and find it, you're missing the whole point of everything. And that's the point that finally sunk into me. All right, you've asked for it. It's there. Believe it's there, because it already is there. You're in the now. You're in the oneness. There is no place to go, guys. There is no place to go. You are everything that has ever existed, and you are everything that will ever exist. That is who you are. Find it. Believe it. Know it. Ingrain it. I am merely the messenger. I am the guru that you guys come to, that count on my videos to bring you these teachings. And now, like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to stop there. I'm expecting not a lot of flack, but I'm expecting a lot of comments when this video comes out. Again, it's Tuesday morning, 10-ish, a little after 10. I took a vacation day today because I just needed it, pure and simple. And that's where I want to keep it. You guys, I love you guys. You know that. I don't need to do this for me at all. I found my purpose after my death. I knew what I came to this earth to do. I will do it with ruthless efficiency. I will not stop. I am a teacher. This job in logistics that I have, that's gone the way of the dodo. I'm easing it out. I'm already wealthy. I'm already a teacher. I'm already what I wanted to be. And now it's just going to go up from there. All right? I love you guys. Again, this is for all of you. I'll be on Friday night, 7 p.m. Central, as always. I hope my video editor will get this out quickly. As soon as I get done, I will upload it and give it to him, and it'll be in his hands, and we'll go from there. As always, put your comments down there. I do read them. I do respond to them. If I don't get to them, it's because I'm busy, and there's a lot of them. But I love you guys. I will see you guys Friday night, and I thank you all for your love and support. I truly do. When I started this, I was terrified that no one would believe me. No one would care. And that has been the furthest thing from the truth. I just had somebody message me the other day, "You okay? Is everything okay? I'm missing you. More videos, please." So, that is beyond beautiful, to know that I've affected all of you, or some of you, so deeply that you're yearning for more. And that is what a teacher does for their students. They yearn for the more knowledge. They yearn for that. Something inside them is calling, saying, listen. And that is who you are, saying, listen to the truth. This is it. as hard as that may be, right? Santa Claus wasn't real. The Tooth Fairy wasn't real. The Boogeyman wasn't real. You are a God, ladies and gentlemen. You are a divine being, the exact representation and one with the Father. You are a God. It is time for you to wake up and take control and find out who you are. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. It's all subjective. What's right to you isn't right to them. What's wrong to them isn't right to you. It's what you are doing in this moment in finding out who you are. And yes, Adolf Hitler is home. He, in his moment, was finding out who he was. There is no judgment. There is nothing held against you. You are loved more than you could ever possibly know. With that, I love you all and have a blessed day.